Hey guys, and welcome back to Mama's Gaming Channel. Today I have a new video for you guys that was inspired by some competitive matches I played that did not go very well. I had the same 4 friends, but the results were different this time. I've been watching the recordings and considering what happened. There were many things that everyone did in the group wrong, but I found one blaring reason that we failed several times. That reason is what we're going to be talking about in this video. The reason was that our DPS players were not doing their job well. This isn't a slam against these players, as a couple of them were my friends, but rather I hope to help them improve their Overwatch game after watching this video. Let's get started. The very first thing I noticed was the poor communication. Now don't get me wrong, they talked all the time and made some important callouts, but they didn't communicate properly. This is probably a result of ignorance rather than laziness, so I'm going to take the time to go into what each role needs to communicate to give these people the benefit of the doubt. Of all the roles in Overwatch, the supports have the least to say, except for maybe Zenyatta. Supports are not necessarily confirming kills nor making plays. They are going to be focused on keeping the team alive by providing the necessary healing, for the most part. Zen, however, is trying to confirm kills as often as possible while calling out who has the Discord orb. Please bear in mind that, just like with nearly everything in Overwatch, context matters. Supports should call out when they have their ultimates. When they notice a priority target, like snipers, flankers, DPS heroes on the high ground, weak enemies, the like, and any information necessary to keep their teammates alive and advancing. Tanks have a lot of things to call out. In addition to the same things that the supports need to call out, tanks also should try to coordinate with the DPS heroes when advancing on an enemy. That includes determining which enemy to focus and where to place barriers. DPS players have the most talking to do. They are in the thick of it always, looking for targets to eliminate for their team to safely complete the objective. They should call out nearly everything they see. This includes everything in the aforementioned lists. I'm not going to go super in depth about communication since I've already made a video about it, and to go much deeper requires a whole new video. Suffice it to say that you need to communicate constantly with your team about relevant information concerning the match at hand. Never spam the team chat, as it could cost you the match. The next thing I noticed was a lack of game sense. I was constantly calling teammates back from rushing the enemy by themselves. I know as a DPS hero it can be difficult to not tunnel vision on killing things, but that is your burden to bear as a DPS. The DPS role is the most difficult role to play, not just for the amount of mechanical skill required to play that role, but for the incredible amount of discipline it takes to properly play that role. The ability to see the match as a whole instead of focusing only on individual skirmishes is what makes DPS players exceptional. That level of discipline is sorely lacking, especially on the Xbox One servers in the lower ranks. I have played with so many DPS players that appear to be trying to prove that they are the best. That's not the job of the DPS. Their job is to eliminate threats to their team, not show off. One of the ways to avoid tunnel visioning is to join team chat and vocally communicate with your team. If you do that, you will at least be able to listen to what is going on and you can respond accordingly. Another thing I noticed is that our DPS had a false sense of value in their plays and character picks. We played a match on King's Row and one of our DPS players was Mei. This person wasn't playing Mei very effectively, but felt good about his gameplay. At one point in the streets phase, he claimed he was hard clutching. He said this after we had lost a team fight and he was running away from the point. What he meant was that he had just survived a situation he didn't think that he could. This person also says he's good with Mei because when he plays with her, he seldom dies. Well, Mei has exceptional abilities to keep her alive. She can become invincible and heal herself at the same time. She has a wall that she can use to separate herself from the enemy and run away. If she's engaged by an enemy, she can freeze them and run if necessary. So it's really no surprise this person can survive a lot with Mei. Playing DPS is about way more than just staying alive. Within the proper context, a player can massively impact his or her team with a low uptime. I played a match once where the enemy Pharah was stomping us. I swapped to D.Va and made it my personal mission to keep her out of the fight. I would fly right at her and shoot her and block her with defense matrix. Each time I went after her, their Sombra would help her out. I would die every time, but so would Pharah. And while I was constantly in a 2v1 fight, my team was in a 5v4 fight nearly the entire match. Pharah and Sombra would keep coming after me and my team kept moving the payload with a man advantage. This kept up until the end of the match and we won so easily. I had so many deaths, but I knew that I had a massive impact on how the match went for my team. The point is that you don't have to have gold medals to know you did your job. And just because you can survive anything, it doesn't make you a good player or mean that you do your job. We also had DPS players who didn't understand the proper way to coordinate the combination of ultimates. We played a match where one of my friends was Roadhog and I was playing Ana. I checked to see if he had Whole Hog and I told him that I was ready with my nano boost. When I told him that we should combine ultimates, he told me to let him know when I was ready. That's not how it works though. The DPS lets Ana know when they're ready and the Ana responds, not the other way around. Of course, if the DPS is not using his ultimate when he should, then Ana can say something. But normally, the DPS initiates the Ana. It is the job of the DPS to read a situation and determine whether the ultimate should be used or not. I know that can be kind of daunting. You can be afraid of wasting an ultimate and failing your team. It's a lot easier to let someone else tell you how to use your ultimate because, well, then it may not always be your fault. But you have to make judgment calls on the fly. It's a part of being a DPS player. They are constantly making decisions that can potentially determine the fate of the match. Every role has to do this, but I think it's harder for the DPS players because generally the team expects DPSs to carry. In most cases, it's not an unreasonable expectation since DPS characters are best equipped to carry. So realize that when you take a DPS character, you have a massive responsibility. So to recap, the DPS role is the most difficult to play. It is difficult because there is a high expectation made by the team to carry everyone to victory. And during the match, they must make split-second decisions like where should I be? Who should I target? Are my supports protected? Does the enemy team have a counter to my character? Should I use my ultimate? Should I change my character? Who should I change to? And so many more decisions. This can be challenging for players who are not used to thinking this way or rarely play the DPS role, but it is essential to being a good DPS player. If you are missing some of these qualities, then maybe now you have a better understanding of why you are in the rank that you are. Some people think that you can't teach these things to people, but I don't think that's true. I started out doing all the wrong things in Overwatch, but when I realized that this game is not a casual game, then I began to study it. I would watch professional gameplay and watch high rank advice on YouTube. Your Overwatch has been an amazing tool to help me develop my Overwatch skills. I highly recommend checking them out if you're serious about becoming a better player. I hope this video was very helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then leave a like and consider subscribing. If you want to see more content, then check out my Twitch channel where I stream twice a week and record all of my streams. If you want to find out why I have this channel, then please check out my Patreon page. I will link everything in the description below. Thanks again for watching this video, and I hope to see you later here in MGC. God bless.